warm welcome to you wherever it is you're reaching us from around the world. If you just joined us or you're still with us, this is Enterprise Weekend, reaching you from Enterprise Television. I am Henry Igwebike.
And I'm Choma Okohe.
All right, we'll be kicking off today with our newspaper headlines to see all that we have for you this morning. And right after that will be our main conversation also. But please do well to be part of our community. Have a say in what we say. You can always find and reach us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. We have today with us in the studio Mr. Shodinde Peters. He is a public affairs analyst. Good morning to you, Mr. Peters, and welcome.
Good morning.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Very, very important.
Very important.
All right, so let's kickstart the morning with the first daily on our desk.
Yeah, and we're starting with the Punch newspaper. On the top strip here, we have Celestial Church loses 3 pastors on New Year Day.
Oh, wow. That's sad, though.
Yeah, very sad.
All right, so we equally have on the top strip here, Orderly backed Fubara to disobey Tinubu.
Now, yeah, very true. That's coming from Wike. Okay, before we get into our talking points, let's see this. Death for foul. Pardoned convict returned home with mental disorder, says family.
All right, we equally have in the betting world here, of course, which is really throwing families apart. Sports betting tears families apart as men chase sure odds.
Okay, without wasting much time, let's get into our topic of discussion, and that is on refineries rehabilitation, which started yesterday between Obasanjo as the former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, and the Nnpcl. And Obasanjo carpeted Nnpcl says, invitation to plants disrespectful. And a writer to the story said, Nnpcl keeps mum over allegation of insulting ex-president. Mr. Peter Shedende, it was a story yesterday on the front page when the former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, was stating that the Nnpcl are not being truthful with the whole Warri refinery rehabilitation and coal, saying it won't see the light of day. And the Nnpcl went far as inviting the president to come, like the former president to come see for himself how well they've done. And today Obasanjo is saying it's disrespectful. Do you term it's disrespectful from your own point of view?
Okay, thank you for the question. For me, I don't think there's anything disrespectful there. Though he's the former president, but at the same time he's a citizen. If you accuse people of a non-performance and the person is telling you, sir, come over, come and see wonders. Because you see, if you look at the history of those refineries, you know, former President Olusegun Obasanjo is very much involved in those refineries. I could remember during his tenure, he awarded the rehabilitation of the Port Harcourt refinery to Chrome Petroleum, then run by Emeka Offor. But the turnaround maintenance they did, I doubt if it lasted 1 month, everything collapsed again. And people started making noise. So, God, do you know how much you gave to this man to rehabilitate this thing and nothing? Then thereafter, hurriedly towards the end of his tenure, he wanted to sell those refineries to Dangote. He mentioned the $750 billion for Dangote to marry those refineries. Yar'Adua came and reversed that particular decision that it was not done in good faith, not in the interest of the country, and that the country will get back its own refinery. So probably he felt that nothing can come out of those refineries anymore. But I think during the Buhari period, they took a holistic look at that refinery, jettisoning the old materials, the old plants, tried to incorporate a new technology into so many of the process. And now I think we have life coming to them bit by bit. One section of the Port Harcourt refinery is up. Warri is also up 60% capacity. News broke some 2-3 days ago that the second part of the Port Harcourt refinery will also be up, same as the Kaduna refinery, anytime soon. But I think Obasanjo still does not believe that anything good can come out of those refineries.
But don't you think he has a valid point?
Whatever point he might have, as long as there is fuel coming out of Port Harcourt refinery that we have seen, as long as there is fuel coming out from Warri refinery, I think whatever point he has is actually not valid, in the sense that you can say, if somebody says Enterprise TV is dead, it's not working. But we are here live doing Enterprise Weekend. People are watching us. The person will be living in his own fool's paradise. I feel that it is not everything, the former president is always good at either writing or talking, or it is not everything. At least a consortium of former GMDs of NNPC, Gayos Obaseki, Andrew Yakubu, so they all went to those refineries. And for them, they spoke from Port Harcourt refinery that, guys, we have been MDs in this company before, but with what we are seeing now, I think life is coming to these institutions bit by bit. You see, I don't think it is every time former President Olusegun Obasanjo should be engaged in all this type of, because if you react to something, of course the institutions will respond. And if you find the response insulting, then it's personal to you. Because as far as I'm concerned, you were only invited to come and look at those refineries. I don't see anything insulting there.
Well, the detail to that particular story said that the reason he felt disrespected was because it was a social media invitation. No formal invitation was given to him, according to his aide. That the NNPC should at least deem it fit to do a formal letter.
He also did not write NNPC to say, these are my observations. He was also talking. It was also news on the reports. It was also social media or the mainstream media. So if you have responded in this manner and I respond back to you, why do you see, the problem is our leaders, they have this entitlement that they're larger than life. They are bigger than the whole country. This is the way I need to be addressed there or there. As far as I'm concerned, there's no big deal. Oga, just come. If you don't want to come, you can keep quiet. That okay, or you say, write me a formal letter, I will show up. It's as easy as that. But trying to get angry on when the trucks are already loading, things are happening. I don't know what you mean.
So in this particular case, now we're going to call it a miscommunication problem.
Do we say miscommunication? But I feel it is more political, actually. It's more political. The former president never supported this candidates to power. He was behind Obi. Yeah. So he never hid his fact that, I am not an Atiku person and I am never a Tinubu person. Guys, vote for this other candidate. So it might still be political for them, trying to find their way around that.
Well, thank you so much. I just hope and pray it doesn't, spiral down to Nigerians. Just like because of the Warri and the Port Harcourt refinery, NNPC had cut short the number of barrels of crude it sends to Dangote. And remember the MRS Dangote deal, reducing pump price to 935. NNPC still selling above 1,000 naira. All of this.
No, NNPC is not selling above 1,000 naira. Yes, NNPC sells 920. I still bought from NNPC station 915. In fact, there is a filling station close to us in this. He is a partner with NNPC. He sells 950 on this our road. So I can confirm to you, NNPC and Dangote are still the ones selling below 1,000 naira. Other major marketers are also not even selling up to 1,000 naira. Things are coming down when it comes to fuel price, actually. Okay. Right. You can take your check on it.
Yeah, we'll take an observation of that. Well, from there, we'll move on to the weekend trust. That's the daily trust for the weekend. And we have on the top street here, Abuja residents to experience 16-day blackout. Wow.
This is already a pre-warning. So they could actually...
So they should all get ready, their inverters and...
On the bottom strip, we have money, prestige, fame attracting billionaires to football. Details are on page 37.
Yes, and still on the insurgency ravage in the north of Nigeria, Lakurawa killed 2 policemen, rustle over 200 cows in KB.
Okay, let's get to our talking point. Ajakuta project too big to be handled by government. That is coming from Alhaji Magaji. Our details are on page 10. Now, Mr. Peters, looking at this Ajakuta project and the money that has been put in there for last couple of years, they were talking about billions of naira, and now they're coming out to say billions of dollars. So now they're coming out to say that it is too big to be handled. At this point, didn't they actually plan to actually know, okay, they can handle it or they can't handle it?
Yeah, for Ajaokuta, there's been a lot around Ajaokuta. I could remember the last administration actually saved Nigeria of a whole lot when I think is it Nnpcl or one of these companies that we did a concession of that complex to took us to court that we had reneged on the agreement and that Nigeria will pay so much of a fine. We had to do an out-of-court settlement, and the country lost, I can't remember, the hundreds of millions of dollars that we lost in that transaction. But we were able to recover that plant back from those foreign companies, which is a good one. It has been used by several administrations to actually, will I say, move money, or because as we speak now, nobody has been charged that you stole Ajaokuta money. So allegedly is what we will say. But we have seen so many of almost all the administration pumping money into that particular sector, and nothing had happened. Same way we have been spending money on refineries back then. I think the sure bet out, what this man is trying to say is that government, just take your eyes off it. Allow the private sector to come in and drive that particular process. And maybe middle of last year, when Dangote refinery came out, immediately after the refinery started working, he said, my mind is on steel now. We are looking at Ajaokuta. So I think they are trying to drum support for private investors to come into that sector. As far as I'm concerned, actually, I don't think it is the duty of government to... You might have resources. It is not every time you put yourself into doing everything. You're supposed to create the environment for the private sector to come in and bring out the best in those resources. Private sector will employ people, begin to mine those resources, export the ones that are excess to us. And you see, aside the oil sector, which is coming live under this administration, and agricultural sector that they are trying to work on. You know, for the agricultural sector, you need to curb security first and encourage local farmers. The next sector should be that aluminium sector, that iron ore sector. That is why Ajaokuta development is very critical. If you want companies from China, Japan, European countries to come and bring in money into your own system, of course, you know most of them are producers, and there's hardly anything you produce, you don't need a little iron. So if Ajaokuta can be concession to private sector individuals like Dangote and Co, we know a success story. We know he can do it. But, it might be challenging, yes. But at the end of the day, I feel what the man is trying to say is that government, take your eyes off these things. Let private sector run it. Because once you do it, it's full of corruption. You have officers in the ministries already who are already waiting. They have penned down a very terrible agreement. They know the government cannot fulfill that agreement. They go look for a foreign company and tell you, okay, sign this agreement with us. Nigeria will now fail on its own part. And they will now tell the company, go and sue the country. Whatever they make, everybody shares.
But, Mr. Peters, don't you think, because this is an asset of national interest. I remember in 2012, Occupy Nigeria, where the ruling party now said, don't remove subsidy, rather kill corruption in the system. Yesterday, just yesterday, Joe Biden dissolved the steel, Nippon Steel, right, in the United States that Japan would have taken over for $15 billion. Joe Biden resolved or cancelled it because that particular steel industry in the United States is of great national interest. So don't you think it's of good deed for Nigeria to say, we might not handle this on concession because this is a case of national interest. Rather, let's remove the corruption in the system and run it ourselves.
So to remove the corruption in the system, the easiest way, because you see, we do not have a system that is corruption-free, corruption-proof. Ordinary share money to poor people. What did the minister do with it? started flying to Kogi that does not have airport. They started sharing money to friends and cronies. You remember what happened in the Ministry of... So there is hardly any sphere of our day-to-day activities that you will not find corruption. The easiest way to get out of all these things sometimes is to be like, okay, must I be the one to run this thing as a government? What if I look at it very well? It's just like our oil fields. Shell just, the Bonga oil field, $5 billion just invested. The government can say, I want to run these oil fields myself. But they know that, okay, if we give these companies the rights, they have the money to pump into it, to pump this more oil. What we need is more oil. Let's allow them to do it. We get our own percentage, they get theirs. It's just like a build, operate, and transfer. At the end of the day, it still comes back to us. We are still the owner. They are not selling everything.
And even if the products, 100% of them leave the shores of the country.
That is where policy comes in. You cannot do iron ore. You cannot mine. It's just like Dangote now. Once we give you local crude, we expect that local consumption must be set aside. You see, all those things are your laws. All those things are little things you can play around when signing all these contracts. But for me, I don't think government has any business in government. In business, they should rather face governance, welfare and security of the people. That is their job. Anything trying to put your hand inside business, the next thing, Chairman wants to be the MD. When Chairman is from the southeast, Musa wants to be the chairman of the board. We start running before you know anything. The way we messed up NNSL, the way we messed up Nigerian Airways, the way we messed up that is the way we will mess everything up. Because it will become political. Look at NDDC. Exactly. Even within themselves, to manage that institution from the Niger Delta, go and hear what is happening there.
Thank you so much, Mr. Peters.
And also this reminds me Nnpcl, our good old Nnpcl.
Funnily enough, Nnpcl could still exist with the current logistics we run in the country.
Yeah, but the same corruption that we're talking about wouldn't allow it to work as good as DHL and other, big brands.
Yes. They had to do partnership with EMS. Nnpcl start to partner with EMS to do all this mail delivery service and because you see, anywhere you put government, any business, look at the entertainment world, look at your media world, look at everything. The reason why it is thriving is because government has not come. No regulation. The day government comes into regulation of the entertainment industry, all this, Davido, Bonaba, and they say, okay, we also want to start playing. That is the beginning of the end.
Very true. At the beginning of the problem. Government has no business in business. Concentrate on welfareism and security for the people. Thank you so very much, Mr. Peters, for being here. And just to let you know that he would equally stay around to take us on our main conversation for today.
Yeah, and when we return, thriving informal recycling system leaves environmental and health crises in its wake. Find out more on our main conversation. Do stay with us.